Good evening, awesome authors, and welcome to yet another episode of Answering the Call to Write podcast. If you're watching live, then please comment, let us know where you're watching from, and let us know a bit about your journey. What are you working on? What are you writing? We would love to know. And if you're listening on YouTube, then please like, subscribe, do all the things we need you to do so we can get this broadcast out to as many people who are wanting to write their books. This channel is dedicated to help authors with that sense of that call to write their books and share their stories, to get their message out there, as well as help authors who are yet to take their first step to write the books that they were called to write. Tonight, I have a treat for you. I am joined by the beautiful JJ Levan. Did I say that right? Levan.
You did, you nailed it. Thank you.
And she's going to talk to us about her children's book called He Meant to Be You, that was published this year in 2023. She's also a member of the Society for Children's Books Writers and Illustrators and is an Elk Lake Publishing Author. And she is also a certified independent provider for the State of Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities to provide services for people with special needs. She's been advocating for her autistic son since 1998 when he was diagnosed with pervasive developmental delay. And I'm sure we'll hear a little bit more about her journey with that. JJ, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to be speaking to you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write your children's book, He Meant You to Be You. I love that title, by the way.
Oh, thank
Awesome.
you. What inspired me? Well, Blake, we have 5 children together. Blake is my oldest son, and he's 29. And so, yes, he was diagnosed PDD NOS in 1998. And we were like, what does that mean? And they're like, basically, it's autism. So they don't really use that here as much. It falls under the autism spectrum umbrella. So, yes, just this year is our 25-year anniversary of this journey. And our kids are off. They're all adulting now. So the house has gotten really quiet and there's been a little more time to write. So kind of taken advantage of that. But I had been kind of dabbling in writing throughout my life.
Yeah.
And at the very beginning of the autism journey, I started writing, I don't know if you would call it a memoir or just some kind of a book. And I showed it to a friend and she's like, oh, yeah, it's a little dark. It's a little dark. And honestly, at that point, it was a little dark. And so I was really writing from the heart. And I put the pen down, I put that away, and I just walked away from writing
Wow.
for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And raising children, I mean, it can get busy. So, but we found ourselves in a new season. And so I thought this was the time. So I was getting excited and I wrote a couple of children's books and I found a wonderful editor. And there wasn't really traction with those stories at all. And, I would revise a little bit and I wasn't feeling it from her. And so I had a moment in my garage. I just had a moment. I don't know if you've ever had a moment
Oh,
with
I've
the
had
Lord.
some. Yeah.
I was just like, Lord, I thought this was the time. I thought this was the season. Do you not want me to write this? This isn't going anywhere. And I just really felt him impress into me. He said, stay in your lane. And I pretended not to know what that meant. No. I'm like, oh, he wants me to write autism. And I didn't want to. I'm like, I wanted to write something jolly, and light and just something like a creative break and. And so I had to wrestle with that a lot. And I just decided, you know what? I kind of felt the calling to write. And I'm like, okay. So um, I I tell people this, and that maybe it's silly. On my business card that I give out to people, I did put autism writer on there because I wanted to honor the Lord and stick to what we agreed upon, or I agreed upon. I guess he didn't really agree upon it. I agreed that, yes, I will follow you in this. And so that's how, a couple of weeks later, after that was resolved, I woke up and wrote the story out and sent it back to my same editor. And she was just like, oh, yeah, I think we've got something here. Yes, I think we should work with this. Yes. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of creepy. That's a God.
Yes.
Okay, Lord. So I'm just gonna hang on. So we're gonna go with this. And so yeah, that's kind of how we got started with He Meant You to Be You.
Beautiful. I love how you took action on what God told you. I mean, I know
Reluctantly.
it's a battle sometimes. I think so many of us can relate to that, but you took that step of faith and kind of solidified that call by putting that on your card, like on your business card. That is such a almost like a prophetic move, like a confirmation of, yes, God, I'm going to say yes to the call to write. So I just want to commend you for that. That's such a beautiful thing to do. I just think God,
Accountability, a little bit of accountability for me to stick
yeah.
with.
Well,
So,
everybody who is in the group will know that I've got a hashtag called accountability rocks because because it's so key is to be accountable. If we don't actually put our goals out there and we don't make a statement sometimes to say, I'm stepping up, I'm going to do this, I'm presenting myself. It's so important to do that. Even I think just for our own hearts, because I think in my journey as an author, I used to be the person who needs to be convinced the most that I was called by God, right?
right.
People would tell me you need to write, but I was the one with it. Like I just needed that sign of approval or that,
Okay.
confirmation. So I think there's something powerful happens, something shifts when we actually take that step of faith and we just start moving forward. So that's really cool. So are you working on other books at the moment, or have you written any other books or?
Yeah, I am working on a project. It's called We Saw Mice, and it does fall in the autism realm. And it deals with echolalia, which is kind of like the repeating of words that the kids might hear,
Right.
sometimes movies or just familiar, and the repeating, and the story is a little bit about that. And so, yes, I'm like you said, I'm going to need a little boost, but I'm getting ready to pitch and query and things like that with that book. So.
What has been your biggest challenge as an author?
Biggest challenge as an author. Um, uh, there's several. Being honest, um, I find the demands of the marketing part of it are intense as far as your website, your blog, you're connecting with your ideal reader, your social media, and just having ideas for all of those things, and that kind of falls into like a distraction. Like I get distracted by you know the way the process needs to be. So like when they say the writing, like the writing of the book, was the easy part. That has been true for me. That has been true for me, so, and then you stumble into revisions and all that stuff, and working with editors and finding publishing. But then the next step into the marketing and the connecting and the reaching out. And I know a lot of us are kind of introverts. We like to be home and jotting down thoughts and trying to weave them together and put together this beautiful piece. But, so that kind of distraction, that's a struggle for me, if I'm being honest. And
Yeah.
absolutely.
Again, I know so many people will relate to that in this group. I speak to so many authors, and this is the big elephant in the room, if that's the right expression. It's just the thing. We did not, I don't think any author signs up for the marketing, right? We love the creativity, we like the story writing, and so then suddenly you're burdened with all of this responsibility to actually steward that message. So I liken it to being pregnant with a baby, and that you've been pregnant with the story, and you've written your story, and the book is born, and you think, right, now I'm done. But now you've got to raise the child.
It's only begun.
You've got to raise the child. You've got a responsibility pretty much for the rest of your life. You've got to look after this baby and get it out into the world, and that can be tough.
Oh, and I have so much respect when I'm seeing author friends or authors that I'm following, that I'm just watching them do it so well. And I'm just like, so you are awesome. You're doing so great at this. You are so good. I'm so proud of you. Oh my goodness. Because I'm not sure, like you said in the beginning, I don't think any of us realize what could be up ahead with that piece. So yeah, absolutely. And then also comes that imposter syndrome. Like, what am I doing? What do I think I'm doing? Writing. Oh my. When I'm able to watch these girls just nail it, on social media, and their following, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna do the very best I can. I told the Lord I was gonna do this. He promised to equip me, and I'm just going to keep plugging forward, keep persisting, keep at it, and just not get caught up in everybody else and all of their, and I'm so excited for their success. I am. But, comparison, as they say, is the thief of joy.
Oh,
Just,
absolutely.
again, stay in your lane. I'm going to stay in my lane. Just going to keep plugging away, try to persist on. So, and follow the Lord's lead, like when I started 25 years ago to maybe try to start writing. That wasn't the season, that wasn't the time. And, the way he's been kicking open some of these doors, I'm just like, this may be the time. I think this is the time, Lord. So I'm going to just try to hang on and follow and just keep trusting and keep following.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's solid advice for anybody who's on this journey, because it is difficult. And I just know from experience, what you see on social media is not always the reality of what goes on behind the scenes, and the effort and the work that goes into having that social media presence. I think it's so important what you said, because we do need to know what God has called us to carry.
Yeah.
And follow his lead in it, because you can drive yourself over the bend watching everybody else do their thing, and then trying to be a copycat or trying to do what they do. It doesn't always work. And you were created authentically, beautifully, with purpose, carrying a specific message that was wired into your heart even before you were born. That's what I'm convinced of. So it's finding out what is it that I carry? What is it that that I'm bringing to the table that's unique to me? And your marketing plan is going to be as unique as your message. So trusting the Lord with it is definitely a key that I think is so important for every single author. So what do you love most about the journey? What have you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, that's the most. I I love my ideal reader. So when it comes down to it, my heart is really for the autism mom, and the children, absolutely the children. Um, but the people that I'm connecting with. So like I said, when we're talking about the social media and all the things, so I'm connecting with the moms, because they have the little children. They're going to be able to connect. And I didn't realize what I had been missing, not connecting with my autism mom community in this way. So I'm really more plugged in to these girls, and they're just so beautiful. And I can see them and their struggle with the little tiny people, because it's so hard in the very beginning. It's a challenging journey all along the way. In the beginning, you're just sort of lost, and you're trying to find your footing and find your people, find your community, find the information. And oh, they're so beautiful. I just love them so much. And the little people, just, the moms are all sharing these little, oh, they're so cute. I just love, love, love my ideal reader. They always say, you find your ideal reader,
Yes, yeah.
and connect with them. And I'm like, I accidentally fell in love with these people. I knew that sounds bad. I'm sorry. I did. I absolutely, like, oh, they are in my heart. And then to be able to share a book and then hear some of them respond and connect. And I'm just like, oh, they've just blessed my heart with their words and their kindness. And they're just, oh, I just love them so much. It's just, that
And
has
I just
been,
I just love that you love them so much, because that's absolutely the fuel that keeps the fire going. Because there's somebody waiting for that message. That's the thing. On the days when I really feel like this is hard, then I remember why I'm
yes,
doing it. And it is
yeah,
it is for that one person, just the one person who needs that hope and encouragement. I just let my little light shine over here and let them know that there's a father who loves them, and that there's an awesome plan for their
yeah,
lives. And I think, again, it's such a key for new authors is find out who is your why, because it's not about the why as much as about the who. It's the
yeah.
who are you trying to reach. And if you can really be clear on that part, then you will do well, not just in writing and communicating with your book, but even your social media marketing. All of that stuff becomes so much clearer when you know who are you posting for, who are you showing up for every day.
Right.
It's so important. So what would be your biggest piece of advice for someone who's new, brand new, and they are just about to step out and write their book?
I saw something, and it was online, and it said, start before you're ready. Um, because everything is new, and all the terminology is new, and what's a proposal, and how do I find an editor? Everything that gets started. Right. Get busy and put your time in. Um, but go ahead and reach out, and the other thing is, I would say a quality editor, not like Uncle Bob or Aunt,
Yes.
a quality editor. And I, I found, I don't know, I have the Christian Writers Marketing Guide. And I don't know how that translates over the pond for you
Mm.
guys, but it was just filled with all the different genres and editors and publishers, and just it was an excellent resource. So I was able to narrow it down um, with these recommended people, and I'm going, this is going to cost me, $1 million. And she really was not outrageous, which is something that I'm like, I'm on a budget here. I need to, that's worth every penny. She was a coach. She helped with proposals. She helped with, just everything. She's just been a blessing to my life. I just love her dearly. Leslie Santa Maria, just so you know, children's um, just she was worth every penny. And I cannot imagine um, not having her. She just helped navigate, and I was just so thankful that I had heard that advice. Get a good editor, find quality and start from there, because everything after that, if it's kind of rough, or like I said, Uncle Bob or whomever, and they didn't know some of the things like my Leslie knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything kind of follows from this very beginning with
Yeah.
the editing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that would be one of the big things.
That's, again, solid piece of advice. It's the one area where I always advise people not to skimp. You want a quality editor. You can get away with a lot of things when it comes to publishing, but editing is not something you should risk. You
Right.
need to find a good editor. So, absolutely, I echo that sentiment for sure. Tell us a little bit about the book itself and the message behind it. What is the message and who is it for?
So this is He Meant You to Be You. And it's about a little neurodiverse person who just finds their way through their day and comes to realize that God is with them every step of the way. And he loves them too. He loves them too. So, and that was that the message was, I couldn't find a book like this for my son that connected God to his special journey. And then I'm finding more and more people saying, this is great for grandparents too. This is great for friends, so they can see and hear. They need to know God made this child amazingly and wonderfully, and you know, he loves them too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I that's what um oh, and I just hearing again some of the moms respond to it. It's just been so encouraging,
Yeah.
because they needed to hear it. They needed to read this. And sometimes when we get busy in autism and special needs, that we forget to remind the kids, you are a blessing to my life. Jesus loves you. You are amazing and wonderful just the way you are. And I just wanted, I just wanted that to be
Yeah.
out, to share it with somebody else. And like I told my husband, I'm like, if just
Yeah.
one person hear it, because I wanted to find it, and I would have loved to have heard that, to get my hands on it and read it to my son. So yeah, that's kind of how.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a beautiful book, absolutely beautifully illustrated. I was lucky enough to see the advanced reader copy, and I just love the message. I think it's a beautiful message for every child, actually, because, and we have so many neurodiverse children these days, and it's difficult sometimes. I think a lot of them feel quite isolated,
Right.
and to know that they are just absolutely perfectly loved by God, just the way they are, with all the quirks and all the different
Yeah.
idiosyncrasies, makes them actually quite special and unique. So absolutely love the book, absolutely beautiful, and I highly recommend anyone who's listening to grab a copy. So on that note, where do we get a copy of your book?
You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes and Noble, and you can find it on Walmart.com. And there's links on my website, which is jjlevan.com. You can, get the links there as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I've popped the links to JJ's book on the description of this broadcast, as well as in the comment section. So you'll be able to just click on the link in the comments and you'll find it there. And if we want to connect with you, which social media page are you most likely to be active on?
Most likely. I would say Instagram, JJ Levan Writer.
Mhm.
You can hop on there. That's like my main wheelhouse, I would say. And then we also have JJ Levan Author on Facebook. So you can come on over and follow and join along in the fun and check us out. So I share a lot of my our autism journey. And I also share a lot of our friends that we've met, their cute stories, and just to get some awareness, just to share because 1 in 36 kids is now being diagnosed somewhere on the autism spectrum. So you more than likely, your people are going to know somebody that
Yes.
falls under that umbrella. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know several. So
and it wasn't that way when we started. It was like 1 in 88,
yeah,
and you know there wasn't too many
yeah,
people here. We're kind of rural, so and there just wasn't. You just weren't seeing what we
yeah,
were experiencing. So I think we really are now. We're seeing a lot more.
yeah,
So
that's right. JJ, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your experience, your journey, the ups, the downs, the all the good stuff. It's been amazing to talk to you and to hear about your beautiful book.
oh, thank you so much. I just appreciate you having me.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone who's been listening. Remember to comment, let us know about your journey, and we would love to connect with you. Have a beautiful evening. Bye.
Bye.